Welcome back to another episode of Pixel Web. Have you ever wondered why your website loads so slowly? Do you want to find out where the bottlenecks on your website are and find ways to optimize your website? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to show you 2 free online tools that you can use to grade the performance of your website, identify where the bottlenecks are, and get some recommendations on how you can improve the optimization and performance of your website. Okay, so I'm going to be using my website, PixelWeb, as the test site for this demonstration. So just copy the URL. In your case, you would take your website's URL. And then you're going to go to 2 websites. One of them is Pingdom Tools. This is the URL for that website here. And the other one is gtmetrics.com. All right, so let's try it out in Pingdom Tools. I'm going to paste my URL in the search field here. And I'm just going to test now. It's going to run through its process of testing out your website and giving you a report. So let's see what it comes up with. So the performance grade is a 97 out of 100. And the load time is 816 milliseconds. It says that your website is faster than 93% of all tested websites. All right, so then going further down, it gives you a nice waterfall of all the assets that it's calling when it's pinging your website. And then if you click over here to the performance grade, it gives you some more page speed performance information and some items that you might want to look into. So here it says for the leverage browser caching, I get a score of 92. I can click down here and it tells me what can be causing an issue. So it's the Google Analytics in this case. Then it's telling me to remove query strings from static resources. That would be this over here. And then serve static content from a cookieless domain. All right, so the rest of the stuff is, really good. So we're going to move on back up. We'll go to page analysis now. So server response code, all successful. No issues with redirects. No client errors. No server errors, no connection errors. So if you see anything here, then you would further investigate how to resolve those. At least you'll have, direction and see what, might be causing an issue. We move further down to the load time analysis. It tells you information on any potential bottlenecks and how much time it takes, to go through the process of pinging your website. Time spent per content type. This tells you what's taking the most amount of time. In my case, it's JavaScript. And then images, CSS, HTML, and others. Go further down, size analysis. It gives you a good breakdown of the size of the content on that particular page. And then the request analysis, it gives you a breakdown of how many requests are being made. So here, I already know that I can combine some of these JavaScript files and CSS files, and that would boost up my score a little bit higher. But 97 is not too bad. So just a quick overview again. You get the waterfall, performance grade, page analysis, and this is the score that I get. Now let's move on to GT Metrics. All right, so GT Metrics is another free website tool that you could use to measure the performance of your website. So I'm going to put my URL there, and I'm going to analyze. It's going to go through the process of analyzing the URL. And here the test server regions in Vancouver, Canada. So it's analyzing with page speed, and it's going to generate a report. All right, so this is the report it gives you. It's a very detailed report, and it gives you a lot of information in terms of various aspects of your website and your server. You see here the enable keep alive is already done. A lot of these things are good because I've configured my server, and I've also configured my website to be optimized. It does give me some information that I do need to serve scaled images. I recently changed the cover art on my website, so that's something that I have to resolve, and then that score will be higher. But everything else is looking pretty good. That's for the page speed. Now for the Y slow, which is a 92, this is the information. It breaks it down for you. And if you have any issues, you can click down, and it'll tell you, what those issues are, and then gives you direction on, how you can resolve it. if you need some more information, what does this mean? So add expire headers, and then gives you the information there. If you want to read more, you just click on that link. So that's pretty much GT metrics. You could also see the waterfall, and this is all the information that it's requesting from your website and the amount of time spent per item. So 205 milliseconds, etc. So, and the load time here is 0.9 seconds. Okay, so back to Pingdom tools. One thing I forgot to mention is you could also, in the settings section, identify which server you want to use to ping your website. And this is good because you can identify, if your website is a global website and you are generating content that is useful to people across on the other side of the world, you want to see how your server responds in that situation. At that point, you probably want to look into a CDN, a content delivery network, so that way you can improve the load times. But if you have a local website, like if you're a local realtor or something like that, then having a server within your country and preferably on the same in the same area that you are, will make sure that the latency, the load time of your site will be small. So these are two websites that I highly recommend. Pingdom Tools, this is the URL there, and then GT Metrics. They both give you a great amount of information that you could use to further optimize your website and get an idea of where the bottlenecks may be. These are tools that I use to grade my site, and I use them for my client websites to ensure that everything is working the way it should. And then every so often I go back and just test things out, because as we all do, I change things sometimes in the code or in on the site itself, and that can impact load time issues. And this is extremely important because search engine optimization is something that we all hear about daily. And recently, within the past year, Google has made it a ranking signal whether or not your website loads under 2 seconds and preferably under a second. If it takes too long to load, then that's going to be a penalty mark on your score when Google is determining the SEO value of your website. So load time is a major issue to focus on. It's also important because think about it. If a person is coming to your website from a smartphone and they maybe don't have the best provider, maybe wherever they are, the connection is not as strong. If your website is not optimized, then they may never get to your site. And that's an issue. That means that's a lost opportunity. So you want to use these two free tools to determine what potential bottlenecks exist and how to potentially resolve them. Well, hopefully you found this episode helpful. We covered 2 websites you can use to grade the performance of your website, and where it gives you some information on the load time, the performance, and any potential bottlenecks that might exist. It gives you a roadmap of where you should focus your attention on improving your site, and the goal is to have a fast loading, well-optimized website. Reason being, it's an SEO ranking signal now. You want your website to have the best opportunity to make it to page 1. Well, this is one thing you have to focus on. Content is king and queen, but load time is now a ranking signal based in Google's playbook. So use these free tools to grade the performance of your website, resolve any issues that might exist, and then you'll be able to improve your opportunities and chances of converting online web visitors into clients, customers, and frequent users of your website. So if you liked this episode, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, since I'll be giving you some more information on how to manage your WordPress-powered website and ways to optimize it, increase performance, and to ensure marketability of your website. So I'll see you next time.